Today I will be sharing a young lady's story about how she suffered trauma and lost her coping strategy. Watch all the way to the end to hear about the dramatic change she experienced. Hi everyone, if you're new to my channel or my page, I am Charm Lee. On YouTube, I am Lee Nicole. My channel is about mental health, physical health, and relationships. If you're interested in these topics, feel free to support my channel by subscribing and commenting below to introduce yourself. After suffering an injury while dancing, Nicole struggled to deal with the impact of losing her greatest outlet. For Nicole, dancing was both her happy place and, her coping mechanism. So when she danced, she felt free, yet completely in control. When she danced, Nicole could escape her mental health issues. When she ruptured her hamstring, Nicole's dream of dancing professionally were over and her coping mechanism was gone. So without it, Nicole's mental health began to spiral. Childhood trauma was lasting impact, and as a child, Nicole was loud and bubbly, and her dad described her as a little ray of sunshine. But when she was 14, Nicole experienced something that impacted her heavily. She says, "I was put in a position where a very familiar and comforting environment was no longer safe." She said it was something she had to endure for some time. And a lot of us are put in a familiar place or a comforting environment that totally was not safe for us. So Nicole internalized so much of the trauma that there was no way for those around her to really understand why she was moody or feeling anxious, right? So she started to exhibit OCD tendencies because she really needed a way to control her environment. Child, this included pulling her hair out, and she was diagnosed with trichotillomania. I had to pronounce that really slow. Trichotillomania, which is a compulsive disorder, similar to someone biting their nails. She said her brain was basically hardwired to do this repetitive habit to make her feel like she had control. So as a result, Nicole had bald patches on her head, and she wore a headband to school to hide the damage. Nicole can still recall the moment she was presented on stage at her end of year 12 assembly when the principal tried to remove her headband, because it wasn't a part of the school uniform. She said even though no one would pick up on it, it was a pretty traumatic experience for her, and after high school, Nicole took off overseas working at a summer holiday camp in America. It was the circuit breaker she needed before pursuing her goal of studying dancing, right? So followed her passion for dancing. She always wanted to become a dancer. So she said first, dancing was simply something that Nicole loved, and something she dreamed of doing for the rest of her life. Just imagine this. Keep listening to the story. But after what she went through, dancing became more than just her passion. It became an outlet, a sanctuary, a means of coping with her trauma. How many of us use that one thing to cope with her trauma? So she still loved it, but it felt different, and there was a reliance she hadn't felt before. So it didn't change her path, and she powered onwards, to her goals, graduating from a prestigious dance academy in Melbourne. I think that's in Australia. And in the lead up to her injury, Nicole was dancing her day away, 5 days a week, as well as teaching classes. And she kicked up, boom, her leg while demonstrating in front of a class. And straight away, she knew it was wrong, it was done. So she called her boyfriend to come and grab her. And by the time he got there, oh, Nicole was standing in front of the car and she was crying. She was crying. You know why? Because she couldn't even sit down. They went to the hospital and they had to cut her pants off her to do an x-ray. And 2 days later, she was in emergency surgery. You know, because she felt he had done such a good job of ripping her hamstring off the bone. Nicole's recovery was tough, and there was a physical aspect of spending 2 months in a leg brace and undergoing multiple surgeries. Then there was the obvious impact of the injury would have on her career and her dreams, and the impact on her mental health after rehabbing her hamstring for nearly a year, right? Nicole tried to get back into dancing. Can you believe that? It became clear she wouldn't be able to because she was hopping. And she loved dancing, really loved dancing. And it was at one outlet that allowed her to digest her emotions, and she had to give it up. She never really understood how it was helping her mentally because she could just exhaust all of her feelings into dancing. She could take everything that was frustrating her and just put it into dancing. Nicole had lost her dream job and her coping mechanism. Her mental health started to deteriorate. She lost routine and Nicole pushed her partner away and began to withdraw socially. And she would get anxious and irritable. Before long, it became clear that she needed help. So diagnosis was a sense of relief. Nicole's turning point came when her boyfriend casually mentioned she might need to speak to someone. It was terrifying. And she said she remembered going to the GP, I think that's general practitioner, and explaining that it just wasn't okay, right? And her biggest learning from the session was how the GP spoke about Nicole's experience. They didn't ask why she felt that way. They just said they understood and gave her some options to explore. So Nicole was diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Being able to put a name to what she was going through allowed Nicole to speak honestly to those closest to her, opening up, managing her emotions by exercising, volunteering, and reaching out to close friends when she needs support. Nicole accepts herself, including all of her experiences, good and bad. That made her the person she is today. No, I'm not Nicole, right? What did we get from the story? When we bottle up our emotions, they can become explosive. And from what I know is that transparency brings healing, and it's best to use different ways to cope instead of relying on one way. Talk therapy, my friends, is very important in the face of adversity. So speak to someone today about what you are going through, someone that you may trust or a professional. Have a great day. And if you're not feeling great, I hope that you will feel better. I'll see you in the next video.